Greetings from the Great Wide North. You've reached Len, Amsterdam.
Howdy, Len. This is Scott Rose from Ogden, Utah, snowy Ogden, Utah, calling to do an exclusive interview for the Len Amsterdam radio show.
Hey, Hoser. Scott, the way I've been starting things off here is that we'll be asking you for a big American country yeehaw.
Well, okay, Len. I'll give it my best shot. Hee-haw, 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 hee-haw!
Good one, Scott, but you freaked out my dog.
Well, Len, it's that fresh country air, man.
We'll start this exclusive off with my stock cowboy question. Do you use chewing tobacco while riding the range on your horse?
Well, actually, I have to ride my horse these days because I can't afford to put fuel in my pickup truck. As far as the chewing tobacco, yeah, I'll have a pinch or two every now and then again.
Now, I heard you've been brushing up on your Canadian. Can you lay a little on us?
Yeah, well, sure thing, Len. Beauty, eh? Oh, anyway, I'd like to thank you for having me on your show, man. It's a real honor. It's a treat for me.
So, Mr. Rose, can you tell a little bit about your musical history?
I guess I started about 30 years ago when I first started playing guitar. My first, nightclub, you could call it, gig was at age about 15, and I don't know, I was so naive. I remember walking in there and it was like, I thought I was at a practice, and when Ernie, he announced that it was break time, I thought, wow, yeah, we're really actually playing? and that was back in the good old days when you could really suck and still get paid for it. I don't know, then I got serious and went to Nashville when I was 19, 18, right around there. I can't really remember for sure. Stayed there for about a good minute, 30 seconds. Man, I was so blown away by even the Motel 6 acts down there were good. Came back home to good old Utah. Just got back with the guys I was with. We played, Wyoming and Idaho and even sometimes Nevada circuits. Did that for about 15 years. And then that kind of all dried up and ended up just getting serious about writing. I've been mostly doing that ever since. And I even get the opportunity to submit to some publishers from time to time, and I guess there's always hope, Now,
it's always a common thread when I ask this question about instrument collections, because I find stuff comes and goes. What's the deal with you? What's in your instrument collection?
Instrument collection? Well, that's a little bit of a sore subject with me, actually. I used to have some really nice stuff, but that kind of walked away in a robbery a few years back. And so for now, I guess what I've got is just some generic guitars, acoustic, bass, electric. I don't know, I've got an older Instant keyboard I play on, prehistoric Simmons drum set, and I guess an 8-track recorder. That's about it for right now. The only thing they didn't get was my vintage Mesa Boogie amp. Had that thing, forever. But they didn't take that because if you ever lifted one, you'd know why.
What are your thoughts on the internet?
The World Wide Web, huh? Well, you know what? I think it's an awesome tool for independents to promote themselves. It's just a way to level the playing field a bit. I mean, after all, I wouldn't be here talking to you if it wasn't for this. What's
important to you?
Well, Len, barring the obvious ones, God and family and all that, I guess I have a passion for boating in the water. I literally live on my boat in the summertime. Actually, I call her my $200 a month apartment. That's pretty much where I stay. I write some songs there, too.
Can you talk about some of your live performance experiences?
Oh boy, live performance stories. Oh, I could spend hours on this one. But a couple that really stand out was, there was one time, it was back in high school actually, with the band I was with. We got the opportunity to open up for Peter Frampton. And at the time, we were so busy just practicing, getting our show down, that we weren't really thinking about what we were about to do. And then when we got to the stage and walked out on that stage and saw all those people, I have never been that terrified in my life. I mean, for about 30 seconds. It's kind of like Nashville Star. I did that last year too, and I was like scared to death. And then, but hey, man, once you got into it, you're into it, and just had a great time, man. It was a killer experience.
Who are some of your musical heroes, and who's on the top of the list?
Well, you got the obvious ones. I mean, anybody that put out a record, I mean, is a hero to me. You got Rush, you got Van Halen, Patsy Cline, Kenny Chesney, all of them. Probably the biggest musical hero that I have is my big brother. He picked up a guitar, and I was just a little kid at the time, and it was so in envy. I just looked at that time and went, man, I'm going to learn how to play that guitar better than him if it kills me. And he never did do much with it, but I just loved it so much that I just continued on, and to this day I'm just playing the thing. So I guess my big brother, he's my biggest musical hero.
Do you consider yourself a country artist?
Len, yeah, I do. I played country music for 15 years or more or longer. I started out as a rock and roller. With what they have these days, it's almost like today's country is a little bit like yesterday's rock and roll. So I'm hoping that marriage between the two is going to work and people are going to like it.
What are some of the best songs you've ever heard?
I think some of the best songs that I've heard are people that, dabble in it a little bit, and they don't know the technicalities of how you should do this and how you should do that. But something happens to them, and they just pour their emotions into a song. If you know the story behind it, and it probably wouldn't make sense to anybody else, but if you know the story behind the song, you're just into it. Hey, Len, well, I still got on the phone. Let me ask you this real quick. I've just kind of wondered. I've heard that you guys in the winter months get so much snow and wind up there, you have to tie your snowmobiles up in front of the saloon to keep them from blowing away. Is that true? The coo 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 beauty, eh?
Have you considered a career in stand-up? Well, on that musical high note, it's a wrap. Scott Rose is on the top of my playlist and should be on yours too. Len Amsterdam, Canada.